Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Sulavon SheShed. I'm your host Sulavon, and today in the SheShed we have a really amazing guest. His name is Ian Guerin. He is an award-winning and chart-topping artist. Today he has come to the SheShed to share about his latest album and his journey. So let's pop into the SheShed to hear more about what Ian is all about.
Together we Madsexy. All that you show, I love you, all the most amazing. The best work, the best girl, the best in general. Back it, going back it for more. We Madsexy and we rock. Back it, going back it for more. We Madsexy and we rock.
So Ian, when and why did you decide to dedicate your life to the music industry?
That is such a great question, and it happened at a very defining moment in my life. I was 9 years old. I was at an aunt's house. I was singing in her karaoke machine, and she said, "You are great. You need to exploit this." And I didn't understand what she was saying. And a few months after, for my birthday, she said, "Okay, get ready, have some tracks ready. I'll pick you up Saturday morning." And she picked me up on Saturday morning, and she took me to a recording studio. And the moment I walked into that booth, I just felt different. I'd never felt that way in my life. I felt like I was in the right place, the right time, where I belonged, right at home. And we started recording, and they said, "Okay, we need to, do a few runs of it so that you feel comfortable." And I was like, "I'm comfortable, I'm ready." And the producer said, "Okay, I'll record the track." And that first shot we did, we kept because it was so natural and I felt so free. And we stayed there from like 10 a.m. in the morning to like 10 at night, recording 9 cover songs. Amongst them was "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears. I remember that. And I remember feeling free and feeling myself, that every time that I felt like a misfit or out of place, I felt like life had given that to me back in a positive way. Ever since that moment, I was 9 years old, 10 plus years after, I feel exactly the same way every time I go into a recording booth. So it's wonderful. It sounds like so positive and, so like rehearsed, but that's the truth. That's how it happened.
That is so awesome. And so you are an artist from Mexico, right? Who sings R&B. And what's up with that? Because a lot of people know you mainly from like UK charts, but can you tell us a little bit more?
I think that music is a universal language. I don't think that the place we come from defines the music that we like. It does define us culturally, in our customs, but not musically. And when I was really little, I remember, my dad is a rock crazy fan, like a crazy rock fan. And he showed me all of these bands, the Rolling Stones, Dr. John and Camel, and all of those like alternative rock personalities. But I wasn't driven to that. I remember hearing Ray Charles on his for the first time in his movie, in the Ray movie. And I was little, and I said, "Wow, that sounds great." And then I was introduced to Tony Bennett. Then it started going from there. Then Michael, then R. Kelly, which I know we shouldn't talk about R. Kelly now, but he was an influence, right? Musically speaking. And then Janet, and then Mariah. And then I started being driven to all these sounds, R&B sounds. And I was already a big band fan. So I think that the two meshed together, and the Motown sound, the soul sound of Motown and Marvin Gaye and all of those people. And that's what I felt comfortable with. And I did a pop album in 2012 called Madsexy. I didn't think that was necessarily me as a personality. Like, I liked the songs, but it didn't really reflect who I am. And R&B did. And so when I told my advisor back then that I wanted to do R&B, he said, "Okay, you cross over." It's the time to do it. You're not famous. You don't have a fan base who's married to a certain sound. So this is the time to do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And we did Cry, and it went so well. When he put it in that magazine, in the Beat 100, and then it went to the top 10, and then it won awards, and I was like, what is happening?
Call on your phone and I go to your home, and you know where to be found. Where are you now? Gotta change since you walked through that door, and the moment that we shared, I still hear in my heart. I miss wrapping you in my arms, but I cannot let back, so I cry. Cause it hurts to fall in love with a prisoner wall, and it hurts me even more that you don't even know. Every time I heard your voice, I was falling in love, and I cried deep inside.
And yes, I've gotten a lot of questioning from the Mexican press, like, why do you do? I don't do a lot of Mexican press though, because they always ask me that question. They said, why are you singing in English, and why are you doing R&B music? No one plays R&B here in Mexico. And I'm like, I'm not doing it because of where I am. I'm doing it because it's the style that I want to do. I want to do something that goes with my personality. And I don't think I hear that term, cultural appropriation. And I think that sometimes it's misconceived by people, because music is universal. I can hear a K-pop song and not understand a word of what they're saying and still enjoy the music. I think that it comes from within. What is up with that is that's the music that makes me feel alive. And I like that feeling, because music is my escapism.
I had another question too about your songs. So your songs seem to be influenced by love and relationships. Are they specific to a special someone or someones?
Yes, they are for special someones. There's 3 specific girls that I wrote about in the album. I think they all know who they are. They are not getting coin from any of the royalties of my song. Never will they ever. Never, ever. But yeah, they made me who I am. They made it Irreplaceable what it is, because they taught me to be strong in front of adversity and discomfort. And that's what the album is about. It's telling the truth and saying, I'm longing for you. I'm feeling lonely, but I can go through it and move forward and move on with my life. This does not define me. This is not the end. You haven't seen the last of me. And that's what Irreplaceable is about. Irreplaceable stories, irreplaceable people, so that it's a journal. It's a journal. And yes, they are there and they know who they are. And I'm very proud to say that they helped me, and I don't hold grudges. But it did hurt. It was a hurtful process, but also a healing and a growing experience at the same time.
So you seem to put all of your passion and emotion into all of your songs. Where does that come from?
It comes from within. I like to free myself through song. And sometimes I want to write about a certain something that I have in mind, or I have this idea for a line or a melody. And once I'm writing it and I'm in the studio and I'm working and I'm sitting there, I just can't help but to tell the story that's the real story, not the one that I was, precisely thinking about and, craftily putting together. I always end up with the real deal. Like, I was doing a collaboration with a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, Ian, I don't want to screw up this hook, and I got this really great song. Could you help me? And I was like, yeah, sure, send it over to me. And I wanted something fresh, because the beat was like, it reminded me sort of Camila Cabello with Havana. And I was like, I want to do something like light and upbeat and fresh and breezy and happy. So I think that there's a drive within me that says, heal yourself through song. There's nothing that uplifts me like singing or writing songs. So when I'm feeling down, that's like the medicine. I do not need drugs. I do not need alcohol. I need music and singing, and that just puts me through. Like, I'll sing for once in my life, and I like the big band version of it, and I'll sing it at home, and I'll just feel relieved. So I think that it's something. I think that it's an escapism and a defense mechanism too, and an uplifting mechanism, and I like that.
Clap to the music, kiss on my girl, make this night last on the rest of my life. And if you feel the loving, clap your hands and your heart.
also touched on your musical influences. So who are your musical influences?
Well, Michael Jackson, of course. I feel like so emotionally attached to how he felt. There is a magic to the way he felt, and there is also a loneliness and a sense of outcastism, if you want to call it that, that's very appealing to people like me who tend to go through life thinking, you know, my advisor always used to tell me, learn to stand out. Don't try to fit in. You won't ever fit in. And that's helped me because by standing out, I understand even if it's people are seeing me in a negative light, I understand that I'm not supposed to fit in, so I don't get that pressure. So I learned that from Michael, and then my advisor came in and said that. And then there's Prince because he's a musical genius, and he has a lot of class to say everything he wants to say, no matter how nasty he gets. And then there's Mariah because she's this amazing songwriter. I don't know why people give her all that heat when she's had trouble with her vocals. You know, she was going through a rough time in her life, and no one seems to appreciate those beautiful lyrics and melodies that she has and that she wrote. These are the people that I'm more emotionally attached because I see myself in them.
The other question we had too, because you've been doing this for a really long time, what are the biggest challenges that you've faced and how have you overcome them?
Overcoming the fear of me, of failure, of not making it, of trying, you know, of taking that leap. I wasn't ready because I didn't have that spirit where I just went ahead and did it like I do now. I don't overthink too much. Like, I had to make a call, I do it, boom. I had to call a lawyer, boom, I call him. I try to move by impulse in those kinds of situations. And for a lot of years in my life, I was like afraid to talk to a promoter or a manager or someone who would help me reach that next step because I don't know, it was like a fear of not being liked. I think that the fear of myself was the biggest challenge of all. Now I don't give an F, you know. I'm just like in it for the ride and I'm seeing where it takes me, and it's taken me to good places like this show today.
And the other thing I wanted to touch on too, knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently?
Not reminisce on my fears. That would be it. Like, just jump right in it quicker. I understand that for things to come at the right time, you have to be prepared to receive them. That's like a universal law. I don't think I was ready for that because the moment I was ready, boom, everything started happening. I was like telling my sister, like, whoa, why is everything happening so fast? And she's like, well, you're ready. And things had accumulated, you know, like energetically speaking, right? You got to be ready for every step. Definitely not overthinking things a lot. You know, just go ahead and do it. Like Cher says, you can always go done that.
That's so true. And then the other thing I was thinking about, some of our artists, especially our independent artists, they come on and they say that sometimes they get like inspiration from random moments. Like we've had artists come on and they were brushing their teeth and they suddenly had like an idea for a song, or taking a shower. And some of our artists, sometimes they're driving in their car alone and they just kind of have ideas. So what do you think about while you're driving alone in your car? Do you have these same kind of inspirations?
Sometimes. So when I'm in the car and I get to go out in the car without a driver, I like to just take a moment to reflect on the situations that have probably been bothering me or that I've been not feeling so great about or that I've been feeling great about, to see how I'm taking it all in. And I like to think about that and, you know, just talk out loud to myself because my vocal coach says that that's great therapy if you vocalize things, just instead of having things just go through your mind, the thoughts. If instead you just vocalize them and go ahead and say them, they sound differently than when you're thinking them through, you know. And to me that's very healing because sometimes I got this mesh of problems in my head and I just let them out vocally and they sound so different than in my mind. And if people if people in the audience want to go ahead and try that, you know, when they're driving in their car, they'll see, because they'll think that, oh, that's stupid that he's saying, but go ahead and try it. You know, it's a different experience. I use the car to sing a lot. I like to hear the music, you know, just that. Simple things. I come up with ideas, of course, and I record them, but the times where I get more creative is probably the shower because,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
definitely.
it's a good place. I don't know. And you got the water to tap on it.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'd like to live on the here and now, but you know, it's inevitable to think some things. I see myself definitely working with some of my favorite artists in the headline. I love independent artists. There's so much talent, but there's like people that I've admired all my life that I'd love to work with. uh, Being it writing songs for them or the other way around or together. That's one thing that I really want to do. I see myself performing. I see myself having a company, like an entertainment company. That's always been a dream of mine. I'd love to have a Grammy and be recognized for my work, but also for the kind of person that I am. I'd love to be remembered or recognized as a good guy, as a good person that's doing good and that's using the position that I'm in that moment in time, 5 years from now, for something good. If I'm in a privileged position, which I hope I am, because I would like to use it for a purpose, to use it for a purpose. So I
Mm.
would definitely, and recording more albums because I like to record albums and writing songs for upcoming acts, you know, and pushing them and being in the industry any which way possible, but doing some good.
So if you could go on tour with an artist of today, who would you want to go on tour with?
I'd love to go on tour with Ariana Grande. She's super talented. I think she's super sweet. She's a great performer, greatest voice of our time, greatest contemporary voice that we have now. And oh God, if Mariah hears me saying that, she'll be pissed. But it's true. She's got the greatest voice. I think that she's got a great personality. You know, she's got this great vibe. So I definitely like to work around someone like her with talent, with all the chops.
And what's new for Ian in 2020 and beyond?
Well, I have a couple of songs that I want to release for like a deluxe edition of the Irreplaceable album. We're still getting through this ones because, you know, I was telling a friend the other day that I felt like Lil Nas X and Luis Fonsi when they had those big, large running hits, you know, that people didn't get tired of. Like, Irreplaceable is the album that keeps on giving, you know, things that keep coming up and coming up. And it's, you know, it's not even a year old album, so it still has a long way to go. I want to release another single from the album and do another video from one of the songs of the album. I want to get the message of the album across in full because I designed it to be an album that not only transcends the test of time, but that every song has substance, every song has a message. So I'd like to continue getting it out there, definitely, but add more songs to it, like refresh it, repackage it, and you know, put it out there again with some new songs that I've kept in the boat, as Prince would say, you know, for a very long time, and some, you know, performances. I'd love to perform live, be it my own tour or and anyone else's tour with Ariana.
So we had a couple more questions before we wrap it up. Where can our
Sure.
audience go to follow you online?
I'm just in the process of revamping my website, so they can go to ianguerinmusic.com. Guerin is Guerin, ianguerinmusic.com, or they can just type on Google Ian Guerin, and they'll find all streaming services there. But if they don't want to go there, they can just go to my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook or all three of them. They're all I am Ian Guerin. That's at I am Ian Guerin, and Guerin again is Guerin. I am Ian Guerin. The one that I like the most is Instagram because it entertains me the most. So, you know, that's usually when. Oh, and if they write me up on Facebook, you know, that's Facebook/ I am Ian Guerin. If they write me there and they get an automated message that says like, "Hey, welcome to Ian Guerin," or whatever, and you know, it has like something like that. Wait, I'll reply. I don't know how to take that automated message out. I don't know how to take it out, but I wrote it a million years ago, and I don't know how to take it out. But you know, so I'll reply and I'll do it personally, and they can hit me up on Spotify, Apple Music. You know, the music they can hear everywhere. Pandora, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, Deezer, whatever the platform that they use is Ian Guerin. Guerin is Guerin. I love saying that because I wasn't as good when I first started saying it. I wasn't as good, but now I got it down.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
and social media, or just check out the website, ianguerinmusic.com, and you'll find all the bars to social media. You'll find all the media players to all the streaming services. You'll find the interviews. You'll find everything you need to know to get a hold of me. But social media is a hot thing now. So Instagram, go hit me up on Instagram and stream the album everywhere. Available now.
Awesome. So guys, you heard the man. Go there. and send him some messages. Send him some love as well. So also, we have one last question. Our audience usually wants to know this about every single artist that comes on. So
Ooh, I'm nervous.
ready? Okay, so what are 3 really random and funny facts about you that you don't mind sharing with our audience? It doesn't have to be too personal. It can be just like random, like we had someone that said we've had everything from goofiness. We had a model that came on that said when she ate beans, she would toot. So then her mom gave her the Bean Monster nickname. We've had people that play with like tarot cards. We have people that are animal trainers when they're not working. I mean, what do you think you have that you would share with us?
Okay, I'm gonna share something that I've never shared before. One thing is that when I was little, the first time that I noticed that I had a good ear, and this was before I sang. I was like 4 or 5 years old, up to like when I was like 7 or 8 or 9 maybe. I thought of myself as a dog. I love dogs. I was obsessed with dogs, and I had one, and I learned to bark just exactly like one. People would actually come home, and they would come, and my grandma would open the door for them, and they'd see the dog, and they thought, and they'd say, I thought I heard 2 dogs instead of 1, because I would go to the door and bark. The other, this is personal, but it's not embarrassing because it is what it is, I'm not one of those guys that sleeps without their shirt on when they're hot. I don't like sleeping without my shirt on, so I'll sleep without my pants on, and that will give me a sense of freshness. That's something that I do, of course, when I'm alone, right? Right? Yeah, because when I'm with someone, if she sleeps with me, then I won't do that because it looks weird, right? And the third one, I love animals and I love touching them, but I cannot grab anything food-wise if I don't clean my hands after grabbing anything. And when I say animals, I'm including other humans.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's like that.
Like I can't grab anything and then grab food or go to bed. When I'm going to bed and I open my bed and I'm going to lay on it, if I have to close the curtains or touch some extra stuff, I have to go back and wash my hands again.
So Ian, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Make sure to check out Ian's work. Send him a message, hit him up on Instagram, Facebook, and you guys know where to catch us next time. So talk to you later, guys. Bye. And bye, Ian.
Bye. Have a great night. I had a blast.
See you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Changing people's hands around, no underground young man. People make the world go round, go round, 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 go round.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Sulavon's SheShed. We want to say a quick thank you to Ian Guerin for taking time out of his schedule to come on. I want to say thank you to Shay and the network, as well as our team at Team SheShed. Also to our sponsors. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor, just send us an email at teamsheshed@gmail.com with the subject line sponsor. So as always, catch us every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Women on TV. Bye, guys.